Imagine for a moment how a baby learns their first language. It's not with textbooks, right? They don't have flashcards or, grammar rules laid out. They learn by simply soaking it all in, just listening day in, day out, until one day the words just, well, they start coming out. And our sources today reveal something really powerful. And this isn't just for babies. It's probably the most natural and maybe the most effective way you can learn English too. So that's really the core idea for this deep dive. We've gone through a fantastic stack of sources, materials that really map out a whole journey for using listening, even if you feel like you're right at the beginning. And what we're going to do is distill all of that, pull out the actionable nuggets you can actually use, like right away.
Yeah, our mission here is basically to grab the most potent insights, the really practical steps from everything we read. We want to walk you through why listening is so powerful, what you should actually listen to, and importantly, how to listen actively so it really sticks. Plus, how to weave it into your everyday life without it feeling like a massive burden. The aim isn't to drown you in information. It's about getting that knowledge quickly, thoroughly, and giving you strategies you can start with, maybe even today.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. Picture this. You move to a new country. Everything's different, right? The sights, the smells, but the language, that's the big one. At first, it just sounds like noise. Maybe you're on a bus, people chatting, laughing, words just flying past, you can't catch them. But then, maybe after a few days or a couple of weeks, something shifts. You start hearing patterns. Hi, hello, over here. How are you there? Thank you. Suddenly, it's not just noise anymore. It's the start of understanding something. And the amazing part is, you probably didn't consciously try to learn those specific words. You just listened.
That's a perfect description. It's what linguists call language acquisition. It's basically how our brains are naturally wired to learn language, just like a baby's brain. And listening, in this context, isn't just passive hearing. It's much deeper. It's like absorbing the sounds, the rhythm, the emotion, the tone.
It's sponge.
Exactly, like a sponge soaking it all up.
And here's something from the sources that really jumped out at me. Consistent listening doesn't just improve your listening skill, it actually acts like a foundation. It quietly strengthens all your English abilities. Your comprehension, yeah, but also your pronunciation, your speaking fluency, even your feel for grammar, and definitely your vocabulary. It's almost like you're installing a new operating system in your brain, bit by bit, every time you listen. You might not see the progress day to day, but something significant is definitely happening under the surface.
And what's really liberating about this, I think, is that there's no immediate pressure to speak perfectly or even speak much at all right away. The real power comes from that consistent, curious listening, just letting the language kind of wash over you. Fundamentally, your ears are training your mouth, they're getting you ready, so when you do start speaking more, it feels more natural, less forced.
Okay, so we're sold on the why, but the what? That's often the sticking point, isn't it? The internet is just this vast ocean of content. It's easy to feel totally overwhelmed. So, based on the materials we reviewed, what are the real standouts, the most effective types of listening content for learners?
That's a key question because, yeah, choice paralysis is definitely a thing. Our sources really highlighted 5 main types that are super effective. First up, podcasts. Their big advantage is convenience, right? No screen needed. It's pure listening practice.
Right. You can do it while you're doing other things.
Yeah. Exactly. Walking, driving, cooking, whatever. And there are tons made specifically for learners, like The English We Speak from the BBC, great for idioms, or ESL Pod, really good for beginner and intermediate levels. And All Ears English, they have more fun, natural conversations. Okay, second, YouTube videos. The big plus here is the visual element. Seeing the speaker's face helps a lot with understanding emotion, pronunciation, context.
You pick up on cues you wouldn't get from just audio.
Precisely. And you can find channels with slower, clearer English. Plus, you've got subtitles, the replay button. Invaluable tools, really. Even short, simple videos with clear visuals can be a huge help when you're starting out. Third type. Audiobooks. There's something kind of magical about stories, isn't there? They engage your imagination.
Yeah, you get drawn in.
And that engagement helps with memory. Starting with simpler books, maybe even children's stories, is a fantastic way to begin. You can find them on places like Audible or free resources like LibriVox, too. Then, number 4, movies and TV shows.
Always popular.
Yeah, and for good reason. They're entertaining, but they're also amazing tools for learning real, everyday conversational English. The advice from the sources is usually to start with English subtitles on. Then, as you get more comfortable, maybe challenge yourself. Try watching without them.
Any recommendations mentioned?
Often shows like Friends or Modern Family, maybe The Office, things known for using relatable, everyday language. And finally, number 5, songs. Music is just incredibly sticky for the brain, isn't it? Great for learning vocabulary, rhythm, pronunciation.
You find yourself humming the tune and the words just pop into your head.
Exactly. Start with slower, clearer songs. Use lyric videos or apps like Music's Match to follow along. Artists like, say, Adele or Ed Sheeran, even the Beatles often mentioned for their clear delivery. And even just quietly singing along is great practice for your mouth muscles.
So across all of those, it sounds like the single most important piece of advice is
Yeah.
choose stuff you actually like. If you enjoy it, if it's fun, you'll stick with it. And if you stick with it, that's when the improvement happens. That consistency, driven by genuine interest, seems key. All right, so now you got a better idea of what to listen to. But let's talk about how you listen. Because the sources make a really important distinction here between passive listening and active listening.
Right. Passive listening is kind of what it sounds like. It's having English audio on in the background while you're doing something else.
Like the podcast example earlier, cooking, walking.
Exactly. Your full focus isn't on the audio, but your brain is still absorbing sounds, rhythms. It helps you get familiar, comfortable with the flow of English, even if you're not catching every word. It's like creating an ambient immersion. But active listening, that's where the real focused learning happens. That's the game changer. This means giving it your full attention, really engaging. And there are about 5 key steps or techniques highlighted in the sources. First, listen and read simultaneously. If you have subtitles or a transcript, use them. Read along as you listen.
Connecting the sound to the word visually.
Exactly. It makes things click faster. Helps both your listening and reading. Second technique, shadowing.
I've heard this is powerful.
It really is. It means repeating what you hear immediately after the speaker, like an echo. You try to match their tone, their rhythm, their pronunciation. Don't stress about getting it perfect. The goal is just to get your mouth and brain used to producing those sounds naturally. Think of it as vocal practice. Third, replay. Don't just listen once and move on.
Repetition, repetition.
Yes. It's crucial for making things stick. The sources suggested a kind of 3-step approach sometimes. First, listen, just enjoy it, get the gist. Second, listen, maybe read along with the transcript or subtitles. Third, listen, pause frequently and repeat sections out loud. Shadowing again. Each repetition helps deepen your understanding. Fourth, take notes. Simple but effective. Jot down maybe 3 to 5 new words or expressions you hear. But here's the critical part. Try to use them in your own sentences soon after, maybe within 24 hours.
So you activate the new vocabulary.
Precisely. That's what helps move it into your long-term memory. And finally, 5th step, summarize. After you finish listening to something, a short video, a podcast segment, try to summarize it. Just speak out loud or even write down 2 or 3 sentences about the main points. What did you understand? This really boosts your comprehension and your ability to express yourself in English.
Okay, so the big takeaway on how seems to be engagement. Active listening isn't about perfection. It's about being consistently involved, curious.
Exactly. Curious is a great word for it.
Just embracing that process. So we've covered the why, the what, the how. But maybe the most crucial part is making it stick.
Yeah.
Building that daily routine. The sources really hammered this point home. Consistency beats intensity.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like the gym analogy you mentioned. 20 minutes every day is way better than one huge exhausting session once a week. You don't need hours, maybe just 30, 40 minutes spread out. That seems much more doable, less stressful.
Totally doable. And we can sketch out a sample routine just to give you an idea of how easy it can be to weave into your day. So maybe in the morning, just 10 minutes, while you're getting ready, making coffee, whatever, put on some passive listening, a short podcast like The English We Speak or ESL Pod. Don't worry about understanding everything. Just let your brain absorb the sounds. Then, maybe afternoon, find 15 minutes for some focused, active listening. Watch a short YouTube video, perhaps with subtitles, pause it every now and then, shadow a few sentences, repeat them out loud, copying the speaker.
And choose something you actually find interesting, right?
Yes. Always choose something interesting. That enjoyment factor is huge for learning. And then maybe in the evening, another 15 minutes. More relaxing this time. Listen to an English song you like, maybe with a lyric video so you can follow along. Or perhaps a few minutes of an audiobook chapter. Just let yourself relax with the language. No pressure. Let it sink in.
And just like that, you've got 40 minutes of English listening woven into your day. It doesn't feel like some monumental task.
Not at all.
That really does seem like the secret sauce. Small, sustainable daily steps lead to big results over time. Okay, now let's talk about tools. Technology can obviously be a massive help here. Our sources pointed out some really great resources that can seriously amplify your progress. And again, it doesn't have to be complicated. Even just 10 or 15 minutes a day with one or two of these, that can make a real difference.
Absolutely. There are some fantastic ones. First, Youglish. This website is brilliant. You type in an English word or phrase, and it instantly searches YouTube and shows you short clips where native speakers actually use that word or phrase in context.
So, wow, so you hear it used naturally.
Exactly. And you can filter by accent: American, British, Australian. It's amazing for hearing real pronunciation, intonation, sentence stress, even for basic words, seeing how they're really used. Then there's Fluent You. This one basically turns fun stuff like movie trailers, music videos, news clips into interactive lessons. It has clickable subtitles. You tap a word, get the definition, examples, maybe even a short quiz.
So it makes real-world content accessible.
Yeah, it bridges that gap, helps you learn vocabulary naturally while you're actually entertained. Next, the BBC Learning English app. Can't go wrong with the BBC. It's professional, trustworthy, and importantly, free. They have news stories read slowly, little mini dramas, grammar guides, daily updates.
A real gold mine.
Definitely, especially if you like a slightly more structured approach sometimes. And we mentioned podcasts earlier, but Spotify deserves another shout out. Beyond music, it's just packed with English learning podcasts. Search English podcast and you'll find loads. The English We Speak is there, All Ears English, Speak English with Tiffany, tons for every level and interest. And finally, one that sounds really fun, lyrics training.
Learning with songs.
Yeah, it's a website or app where you listen to songs and basically play a game by filling in the missing lyrics as you hear them. It sounds simple, but it's surprisingly addictive and really good for training your ear, improving accuracy, picking up vocab.
Like a fun quiz that secretly teaches you.
Exactly, it tricks you into learning.
That's a great list. It really shows how much help is available right at your fingertips. But all this listening, all this input, it's all building towards something bigger, isn't it? The goal isn't just to understand English passively when you hear it. It's about actually using it, communicating. So how do you bridge that gap? How do you take what you hear and start using it in real life?
That's the crucial next step, you're right. And the sources had some really practical, even fun ideas for this. For instance, after you watch a video or listen to something, talk about it.
Even if no one else is around.
Even if you're alone, just summarize the story out loud. What did you learn? What new words did you pick up? It forces your brain to process the information actively and retrieve the language. Another great suggestion: join online English speaking clubs. There are loads on platforms like Zoom, in Facebook groups, Discord servers, communities where people practice speaking together.
Less intimidating than jumping straight into native speaker conversations, maybe.
Could be. Everyone's there to learn, usually very supportive. Great place to just listen and then start speaking when you feel ready. You could also use voice chat apps, things like HelloTalk or Tandem. These connect you with native speakers who want to learn your language. You exchange languages. You can send voice messages back and forth, or even do short calls. Real conversation practice, but maybe more controlled. Here's another one. Record yourself repeating lines from a movie or show. Listen really carefully to how the actor says it, the pronunciation, the tone, the speed. Then record yourself trying to copy it exactly. And compare. Yep, compare your version to the original. It's fantastic for fine-tuning your pronunciation and intonation. Okay, this next one sounds a bit challenging, but the sources mentioned it as really valuable. Call customer service in English.
Whoa! Okay, that is a challenge.
Right. Even I still feel a little jolt doing that in another language. But it throws you right into real-world, fast, natural speech. You have to understand and respond. It forces rapid adaptation, a slightly less intense version. Watch the news in English, then explain the main points. Explain it to someone else or just out loud to yourself. It tests your comprehension and gets you organizing your thoughts and expressing them in English. And one last fun exercise. Try listening without subtitles first. See how much you can understand just from the context, the visuals, the tone, guess the meaning, then turn the subtitles on or check a transcript to see how close you were.
Sharpens your guessing skills, your intuition.
Exactly, which is a crucial skill for real-life conversation.
That really drives home the point, doesn't it? Active practice is what builds fluency. You take the input from listening and you turn it into output. That's how you grow.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. Learning English this way, while powerful, isn't always easy. There will be times you feel frustrated, confused, stuck.
Absolutely normal. And it's important to note, that's not a sign of failure, right? It's actually a sign you're pushing yourself, you're learning. Our sources identified some common roadblocks and offered some smart solutions.
Yeah, and it's interesting how common these problems are. Like, number one complaint is probably they speak too fast.
I hear that all the time.
Right. The solution, start slow. Find audio specifically made for learners, beginner podcasts, YouTube channels, and use the speed controls. Most platforms let you slow down the audio, maybe to 0.75x speed. It makes a huge difference. Also, listen to the same short clip multiple times. Your brain adapts to the speed with repetition. Okay, another common one. I don't understand slang or idioms. Native speakers use informal stuff all the time. What's up? Spill the beans, break a leg.
Things you definitely don't learn in textbooks.
Exactly. So seek out content that explains these, like that BBC podcast, The English We Speak. Perfect for this. Write down new expressions you hear, and crucially, try to use them yourself. That helps them stick. Then there's the classic, I keep forgetting new words.
Ah, yes, the leaky bucket problem.
Pretty much. Our brains need repetition and usage. So the solution here involves tools like flashcard apps, Anki, or Quizlet are popular. They use spaced repetition. Basically, they show you the word just before you're likely to forget it. It's very effective for long-term memory. And again, the key is using the new words. Try to slip them into your speaking or writing within a day or so. And finally, the feeling of, I don't know if I'm actually improving. Progress can feel incredibly slow, almost invisible day to day.
So you feel like you're stuck in the same place.
Right. The solution. Record yourself. Once a week, maybe. Just record yourself talking about something, repeating lines, summarizing what you listen to.
Ah.
Then don't listen back immediately. Wait a month. Then listen to your first recording and your latest one. You'll almost certainly hear a difference in pronunciation, fluency, confidence. It provides concrete proof of progress.
That's great advice. It's so important to remember that progress often is invisible in the short term. But every single minute you spend listening, you are learning. You just have to trust the process. As we start to wrap up this deep dive, I want to share a really inspiring story we found in the source material. It's about a young woman, Amina, from Pakistan. She had this dream of working internationally, maybe Dubai, maybe the UK. But her English? Well, it was holding her back. She struggled to understand conversations, felt really shy, nervous, embarrassed even. And she didn't have money for fancy courses or anything like that. No special institute, no teacher. But Amina had something crucial, a strong reason why. She wanted to change her life. So she just started listening. Every single day. At first, yeah, it sounded like noise, but she didn't quit. She listened to music, watched YouTube with subtitles, had podcasts playing while she did chores, and slowly, things started changing. She began picking out words, then phrases. After a few months, she could follow simple conversations. Her speaking got better too, naturally, because she was hearing real English constantly. Fast forward 1 year. Amina landed her dream job in customer service in Dubai, using English every day. Her confidence just soared. Her dream came true. And the story said she still listens every day to keep improving.
That's such a powerful example. And it really connects back to your goals, whoever's listening. Maybe you want that better job, or you need to pass an exam like IELTS or TOEFL. Maybe you just want to travel confidently or connect with people. Whatever your specific goal is, listening is truly the foundation. It's how you absorb grammar without studying rules. It's how you develop that natural pronunciation and rhythm, how you build vocabulary in context. It's really the first step to starting to think in English. And it directly fuels your ability to speak, because fundamentally, you can only really say what your brain has heard many, many times.
Amina's story really brings it home, that kind of transformation. It wasn't overnight magic. Progress takes time. There will be hard days, days you feel like you're going backwards.
That's just part of it.
It is. That's how learning feels sometimes. But the real secret seems to be that consistency, even just 10 or 15 minutes a day. It adds up, it builds momentum, it's almost unstoppable if you just keep going.
So the message really is don't stop. Don't get discouraged by the tough days. Don't doubt yourself. Whatever your English goal is, it is possible.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what we've covered in this deep dive. We established that listening is the absolute bedrock for learning English. It enhances all your skills, not just comprehension. We talk about what to listen to: podcasts, videos, audiobooks, movies, songs focusing on enjoyment, and how to listen the difference between passive background listening and focused, active listening techniques like shadowing and summarizing.
Right, and the tools that can help, like Youglish, Fluent U, the BBC app, Spotify, lyrics training.
Plus, crucially, how to bridge that listening into real-life practice and communication.
And how to tackle those common hurdles: speaking speed, slang, forgetting words, tracking progress. So, building on all that, here's your mission if you choose to accept it. It's simple, clear, actionable. Today, just find one English video or podcast episode, listen for just 5 minutes. That's it. Try to do that every day for the next 30 days, just 5 minutes minimum. And each time, maybe try to write down 3 new words or expressions you noticed and say just one sentence out loud. Maybe repeat something you heard or use one of your new words. Simple as that.
Your journey really does start with your ears. You begin by listening. But as we've seen, it doesn't stop there. Where it really ends is with your voice, feeling confident, clear, fluent. You're not just learning about English, you're stepping into becoming someone who lives in English, someone who thinks, maybe even dreams, and definitely communicates in English every single day.
Because, as one of our sources powerfully put it, fluent English is just one listen away.